to me, looks like it's really lovely, glossy and sticky, lovely colour, all set to go. Right, let's slice up some duck. Cut it across the grain of the meat. You always cut across the grain of the meat because meat's like wood, you know. Grain goes that way, you can bend it if it's cut that way, and so when you try and eat it, it's very chewy. If you cut across the grain of the meat, it snaps beautifully, so if you're eating something cut across the grain, it's tender. Yeah. Right, Casey, front and centre. I got a job for you, a messy little job.
Oh, okay.
Okay? Hang on.
Oh, beetroot.
Yep, that's your rubbish bin.
Yep.
I don't know about you, but
Oh, it's
you might want to put those gloves on. And can you just peel 2 of those for me?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. And I'll get on with the duck part of things over here. I've got 2 severe duck breasts here, and they need to be trimmed up. But the good thing is that even if I cut bits off this, I'm not going to waste any of it. These are New Zealand duck breasts, and they need to be trimmed up. Now, there's all this fatty skin, which I don't want. Take this off there. Don't throw any of this away. I just want to take a little bit of this extra fat off the side. Don't massacre it. The thing about duck fat is it's delicious. Pork fat, duck fat, yum, yum. I love it. Yeah, and duck fat, what would you do with duck fat, Karina?
I would render it down and then cook something in it.
What would you use it for? Because you don't waste duck fat,
No.
ever.
Potatoes.
Potatoes, cooked roasted.
Potatoes.
Potatoes roasted in duck fat, just the best thing. So there we are, we've got a little
Beautiful.
1 portion duck breast there. Now, we'll just very quickly trim this one up. The thing about ducks is they're an aquatic bird. They have a big bony frame, not a huge amount of flesh and a lot of fat because they've got to stay warm and dry in the water. So of course there's a lot of fat under the skin. So all I'm going to do is just score the skin like that, which will help the heat get in and melt the fat. Some people get very sort of hysterical about getting every last piece of fat out, but I actually like it a little bit juicy. It doesn't worry me. Don't try and cook these on the barbecue. You know, naked flame and ducks, all that fat coming out of it. You'll see when I cook it how much fat comes out. I mean, you will be literally hemmed in by sheets of flame, you know. Okay, so those are almost ready to cook. I do want to flavour them a little bit. I'm going to put a tiny drop of oil in here. What have we got? We got village press, excellent. Plenty of pepper. I really like pepper with duck. So plenty of pepper, a little salt, and just sort of slosh that around a bit so that all that is equally distributed. And you can do this the night before if you want to. It'll sit just nicely in the fridge, waiting for you to, you know, when it's time to cook it, you can cook it. Right, I have duck. Now, all that, don't waste it. At home in my freezer at the moment, every photo shoot, every job I've had with this being ducks, I save all that stuff. I've got like 2 big plastic containers frozen in the fridge. What I do is I go and buy myself some really nice fatty pork, chop it all up small, chop all this up small, doesn't matter, see all this fat? Love it. Put it in a pot with thyme, a lot of garlic, you know, big handful of fresh thyme and salt. Cover it with water, and I make rillette out of it. Usually made from pork, but in some places in France they'll make it out of goose or duck, but you always have pork as well. And the whole point of it is it's a fat fest, you know? It's like a big thing of the most delicious, like dark roast pork tasting fat there is. So, yeah, don't waste all the duck trimmings. They can be used for all sorts of things. Even if you just put them in a pan over low heat and just really slowly render all that fat out, pour the fat off, get all the little bits of meat and jam it in a sandwich and eat that, and then use the, why not? And use the duck fat for cooking an omelette or roasting potatoes in, but don't waste it. It's good stuff. Now, Casey, let me just put the duck on to cook, and then you just stay right here. We've got her working today. So, get yourself a frying pan over moderate heat, and from the few thousand times I've cooked duck breasts, I reckon on a gentle sort of moderate heat, it takes 8 minutes on the skin side, which is the side you start with, and about 3 to 4 minutes on the other side, because what you're wanting is the duck to be medium, like a medium steak, which is pink and juicy but cooked. Come and have a look when I put this in. Righto, let's try that, see where we're going. Yeah, hear it? You can. Yeah, it could have even been a bit hotter, but. Yeah, they shrink up a bit. Yeah. All right, you three relax. You're still working.
Yep.
See the amount of fat that's coming out of that already? Yeah. That smells good already. I can smell. Can you smell the pepper?
Smells
Right,
nice.
Casey. What I'd like you to do is cut the ends off, and then cut them in half,
Yep.
and then I'll show you the next bit. All right. Now you might have been wondering about this particular vegetable, which I didn't used to like till I went to Italy. I absolutely love this stuff. Does anyone know what that is? It's Radicchio.
I don't know if I still like it. It's really bitter.
That's the whole point. The whole point is it's bitter. This is an Italian vegetable which has a very sort of bitter flavour. Hang on a minute, I'm needed here. What I'm after is lovely little wedges like that.
Yeah.
Okay? So, this is Radicchio, Italian vegetable. The whole point about this is that it's bitter. Now, that might seem a really weird thing to want to have in your food, a bitter flavour, but France, Italy, and Spain, they love those bitter flavours because they work really, really well with rich or sweet or salty things. They work extremely well. I'm not going to cook this, it's just going to go straight on the plate so that you've got this crunchy, raw texture as well as this rich, sort of velvety sauce and everything. Excellent, Casey.
Thank you.
Very good indeed. Thank you.
Good work, Case.
Thanks.
Yeah. So look, see what's happening here?
Yeah.
Looking good. And that's getting almost 8 minutes. I'll turn it over in a minute. That's extremely good. Now, what I want you to do next, I'm just getting you guys to do everything. What I want you to do is chop up this caramelised walnuts.
Yep.
So I can still see what it is,
Yep.
because I actually don't like eating food very much that
You don't know
you
what it
can't actually know what it is. Yeah, it's good to see it's not, what it once was, I always think. And I'm going to have a look at this duck. Yeah, turn it over, and we'll give it about 4 minutes on that side, and then that should be rested for at least 10 minutes.
Is my work here done?
Your work here is definitely done, Casey. Thank you very much. You did well. I'll put that on the plate to rest. And if I was at home or in a restaurant, I'd probably put a piece of tin foil on that and put it in a warm place, but I'm not going to worry too much today. Now I'm going to make the sauce. Now look, in there is all that, but it's fried, so all those little bits of solids and things have browned, which is why it smells so good, of course, because we humans love all that browning flavours. I'll pour that into there, because it would be a crying shame to waste it. Okay, now I want to make the sauce. So this goes onto high heat now. And even though this is a non-stick pan, there is a little bit of stuff stuck to the pan. So, a wooden spoon, and see all that lovely, it's usually salty, tastes good, love it. Yeah. So deglaze with some wine. Deglaze just means add some liquid so that you get all those bits of caramelised stuff off the bottom of the pan because you don't want to waste them because they taste good. Give it a bit of a stir up. That's cooked. I can smell that. Doesn't smell raw. And now all I'm going to do is put this lovely concentrated beef jus in here. Beef with duck. Sound weird? No, it's going to work. The duck can take it. It's a rich meat. And what I'm wanting is that really grunty, meaty sauce with this duck. Yeah. So that can just boil away nicely there, but it can boil away nicely with some of this beetroot in it as well.
Oh.
Duck, see all that juice is coming out there? Don't waste those. Tip them into the sauce. Good cooks don't waste food, you know that. And of course the beetroot turns this the most amazing red colour, which I really like. This is the red dish, all right?
Beautiful.
Yeah. Break some of these in half. Hate even numbers, always go for uneven numbers. You want to see the colour of the sauce. Do you want to have a look? Yeah. See the colour?
Beautiful.
Yeah, very
Oh, they look so
lovely. Yeah, and it's stupid old beetroot. People that think the only way you eat it is with vinegar. Okay, we're almost there. We'll serve up. That, to me, looks like it's really lovely, glossy and sticky, lovely colour. All set to go. Right, let's slice up some duck. Cut it across the grain of the meat. You always cut across the grain of the meat because meat's like wood, Grain goes that way. You can bend it if it's cut that way, and so when you try and eat it, it's very chewy. If you cut across the grain of the meat, it snaps beautifully. So if you're eating something cut across the grain, it's tender. Yeah. I'm not going to do this too thinly. I'll just... And see that? Pink and juicy but cooked. Don't overcook it, The thing's already dead. You don't have to kill it twice.
I've heard you say that before.
I know. I say that a lot of the time. Now, the other thing I do want in here is I'm almost going to season this. I'm going to season it with a little bit of balsamic vinegar. I don't want it to be viciously acidic. I want it to be really rather gently sweet and sour, so don't go crazy and heave half a bottle into it or anything like that. At the same time, you know, do it like you mean it. Don't do some sort of wussy version. Oh, yes.
Wow, that looks delicious.
The only other thing it needs is some of these walnuts. And nothing green on the plate, because there's nothing green that belongs on that plate. You know, this is a red dish, okay? So that's what we're doing. And there you have it. Pan-fried duck breast with roasted beetroot and caramelised walnuts. Who wants some?
It looks really good.